back to Shell's International Motorsports Programme and to the 1988 Weston Beach race from Weston-super-Mare in England. Well, over 700 entries for what is one of the most incredible two-wheel events in the UK calendar. This year we've got former world champion Dave Thorpe on his HRC Honda, that's a 500cc Honda, out for his first ever victory in a beach race. We've also got reigning British champion, number 1 aboard his Kawasaki, Kurt Nicholl. Andy Nichols is number 3, Mervyn Anstey is also here, Rob Andrews, Greg Hansen, Rob Herring, Paul Edmondson and Mark Banks. So a great entry for what should be a rather unusual race. And there were some unusual entries as well, including TT winner Trevor Nation. Away they go at the start of the 1988 Weston Beach race, and the crowd here in their tens of thousands as the mad dash to the first corner. Don't you wish you were in the middle of the track? Just as well you have a big excavator. It's the only safe place to be. Down they go into the infamous first turn. Swarms and swarms of motorbikes. It's just like a load of lemmings as they go up onto that first dune. It's not quite so high as in previous years, but some of them get stuck nevertheless. The early leader is number 11, that's Jared Smith, and in second place, number 2, Dave Thorpe. Thorpe, of course, who lost the 500cc World Championship this year, the Motocross Series. He was leading it very handsomely after the British Grand Prix that we also saw here on Sky Channel. But then, at the practice for the Dutch Grand Prix, he was to sustain a serious injury, and that would put him out of the World Series. But poor old Thorpe was to crash at the end of that first lap. But he soon remounted and was back charging as hard as ever. Everywhere you looked, there were some spectacular scenes if you could get over the dune. But for some, it was to be an early retirement, not for others. 3 hours then of hard racing around this unbelievable Weston Beach. Number 9 going through, that was Mark Banks, and Robert Meek, number 23, going superbly well. He's on the 500cc Honda, and he was to take over that lead when Dave Thorpe fell. Look at Thorpe coming through the field, showing all of the determination that brought him 2 500cc World Championship crowns. Such a shame that he missed out in 1988 after that accident at the Dutch Grand Prix. 2, 3 and 4-wheel races here at Weston. And beautiful, ideal, dry conditions. Through goes the early leader, Jared Smith, but his chain was soon to snap. That was to put him out of contention, but not after having an awful lot of fun. There'll be 2 pit stops required by the majority of entrants, some actually having 3 pit stops. But the battle really on the front, everyone here to see if Dave Thorpe can win his first beach race. Number 6 going through, that's Greg Hansen. Number 23, though the real surprise, Robert Meek, on the little 250cc Honda, entered by Honda UK. And just look at the vast crowds watching this man, Dave Thorpe, carving his way up through the field. He'll soon be challenging for the lead. And everywhere you look, there's plenty of action and bumping and boring in order to get over the sand traps. Once again, number 6 coming through, Greg Hansen. Another rider to go very quickly was number 8, that's Paul Edmondson on the little 125cc Yamaha, and he was also climbing up through the field, much to everybody's surprise. A few unusual helmets there as well. The 3-wheelers come through, 3-wheel ATCs. And there's Dave Thorpe. Well, conditions getting more and more difficult, especially if you run a sidecar. Still, it's all about a lot of fun. The speed limit of 15 miles per hour, I don't think that was taken too seriously. quads, making fairly light work of these difficult conditions. After all, that's what they were built for. Number 9, that is Mark Banks. And as the afternoon wore on, so the sand traps got just that little bit flatter. They could still catch out the unwary. This year, of course, they hoped that the tide wasn't going to come in early. If you remember, at last year's Western race, the race went on for so long, the tide actually came in, catching a few of the riders unaware. They got stranded in the sea, and certainly some of the service vehicles that brought the bikes to the event actually got stranded at sea. Number 1, the British champion, Kurt Nickel, going through, and on the back he seems to have a koala bear. I wonder if that is up to full FIM regulations. Unfortunately for the British champion, that extra bear must have cost him some extra weight because he ran out of fuel on the final lap. So inheriting the lead after the third round of fuel stops was none other than the former world champion Dave Thorpe, number 2, who went on to his first ever beach victory. A tremendous effort for Dave Thorpe, the delighted man he was. Finishing in second place in a superb effort by Paul Edmondson on the little 125 Yamaha. He was number 8. Finishing in third place, number 23, Robert Meek, who led for quite a long time on the 250cc Honda. Fourth was a very good effort from Justin Banks, number 62, on a 250cc Honda. Fifth was Rob Andrews, and sixth was David Smith. Well, that's all we've got time for this week's Shell International Motorsports, but next week we've got both 2- and 4-wheel World Championship events, with the final round of the 250cc World Championship Series from Brazil and the penultimate round of the World Sports Car Championship from Fuji in Japan.